Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Let me tell you what, guys, I'm very tired. I have switched to a 9-day training cycle, and today was my long run. So it's weird to have like a long run on a Tuesday. I mean, I've had midweek long runs before, and this wasn't like super long, but it was a tough workout. So now I am very, very sleepy. So I'm going to try to get the energy level up, try to get it. Not that I'm not excited, but like, oh man, I really just want to take a nap. But I'm here with you guys now. I got a little bit of afternoon coffee or leftover morning coffee that I'm going to continue drinking. And I'm ready for the live stream. But first, before we dive into it, let's say hi to everyone that's listening on the podcast on the audio only version. Maybe you're on your midweek long run right now. And if you are, hopefully you're digging deep. I mean, hopefully maybe you're listening to some tunes instead of a podcast. But if the podcast is what gets you through it, hopefully you can hit those paces, get that effort in, and have a great run. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you had a good long run if you had a long run in the middle of the week. And now you're relaxing. Maybe you're listening to this as you're falling asleep, as you're about to take a nap to recover from that long run. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I kind of debated taking a nap. I even got into bed before the live stream today. I ate lunch. I took a shower, ate lunch, and then I even got into bed. I had an alarm set. And then I was like, no, I don't really feel like sleeping, but I did enjoy laying down and getting in the covers. So that was really, really nice. All right, let's see who we got here. Terry Furlong in the chat says, I always do my long run on a Tuesday. It doesn't seem odd to me. Yeah, I think it's hard because some people, schedule-wise, it's difficult. Like, I mean, it wasn't that long a run. My run ended up being like 2 hours and change. But like the long run is really disruptive for the rest of my day. I just don't feel like doing anything. And so that's where it becomes like a little bit more intrusive. But, I think maybe I'm out of practice for like having to balance more of a busy schedule now that I have a little bit more flexibility. But, kudos to those of you who are doing those long runs regularly in the middle of the week. Christina Warren says, hey, everyone, got a good gym session in and 3 miles on the dreaded treadmill this morning. LOL. Oh, you got it all in, though. Good job. Dominic Smirnowski says, good evening, guys. Tuning in while cooking dinner. Pasta with mushroom, asparagus, and Parmesan topping. That sounds really nice. Really, really nice. Eric says, hey, 6.5 miles, including some uphill strides, and I managed to squeak into Leadville 100 running camp again, late June. Great day. Hope your run was good today. Oh, that's so cool. What's the running camp like? I really want to do like the I'm guessing it's probably like I know there's like a course preview camp. Sorry, I've got like all this like dirt because I had shoes on this table. I usually have shoes on the team, but there's just dirt everywhere. I know there's one for Western States. And it's usually Memorial Day weekend, which is a tough day for me because that's a pretty big family weekend usually for us. But like over the course of like 2 or 3 days, you do like 60 miles on the course, which is like, sounds just about right for me and my level of running. But I wonder what the Leadville one is like. I bet you it's pretty fun. JC said, just had my first Portillo's experience. They opened yesterday just up the road here north of Dallas. So good. Portillo's is like a Chicago hot dog chain. There's one in Crystal Lake. It's actually pretty nice. And yeah, it's good. Glad you enjoyed it, JC. I didn't know that they had them in like Dallas. I know that they're like all over Chicago. I didn't realize that it had spread so far. Did they have the chocolate cake? They got to have the chocolate cake, right? Did you get the chocolate cake? You got to get the chocolate cake. Nataku says, hey, Co, I just signed up for the Detroit Marathon. You run to Canada and back. Seems fun. Ever considered? I have considered it because, back when my running buddy and I were like having a hard time getting into Chicago, we were like, what are some other runs we could do? We have friends that live in Detroit or are from Detroit. And so we're like, well, we could do that. But then I'm like, I didn't love the idea of running through the big tunnel. And then I was like, how does the running on Canada thing work? Do I have to run with a passport? I didn't understand that part. That part kind of felt weird to me. And then we ended up never doing it. It is a race that it's really interesting that it'd be like, oh, you run to another country and back. I mean, I think it'd be weird for me to run from Illinois to Wisconsin and back. That's kind of like on my bucket list not bucket list, but like runs that I'd like to do maybe next summer. Because I live really close to the Wisconsin border. Running to Canada and back seems pretty fun too. I like that. Rob DiGennaro says, hey y'all, those Peg Trail 4s are very nice. It is a good shoe. It's nice and comfy. And like, I want to just be able to enjoy the shoe and say that the Peg Trail 4 is a nice shoe. But every time I think about it, I'm like, and why can't they make the regular Pegasus that good? You know, like a shoe that I should just be happy with and enjoy always makes me upset. You know? I don't know. I think it's just because like I have a sentimental place in my heart for the Pegasus. I just like that shoe. And I've been disappointed in it the past couple of years. All right, here's some info on the Leadville 100 training camp. The LT100 run camp, about 50 plus miles course preview camp, spread over Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday AM. Pretty much get the whole course in. See, that sounds like fun. See, I feel like ultra running is great if you can spread it out a little bit. And yeah, that's my take on it. Although I still think that sounds really torturous. Just because of all the climbing. It's a lot. Kyle Patton said he had an IBS flare last night. Any fellow IBS sufferers? I'm trying probiotics again, but they seem less effective this time. I have a relative who has IBS. They run sometimes. I don't know how they deal with it if they have a flare-up. Maybe someone else here in the chat can help you out. Brandon Palmer says, hey all, speed repeats for me today. Hope everyone has a great run. Nice, Brandon, getting that work in. And Luis says, yo, what's going on? Wilfredo says, Que pasa, Confucians? We're looking at great weather this weekend in H-Town. Is it going to be great? What's the weather going to be? You have to let me know. I haven't seen it yet. Last time I looked, it looked like it was going to be a little on the warm side. But I suppose I should start checking because I got to start packing soon. By the way, don't forget some news. There will be a Confuzi Run Club shakeout at 10 a.m. in Houston. Go to the Confuzi Run Club Strava group to find the details. The route's about 2.66 miles. You can make it, so the options are you can make it like 2.66, or if you go to like we're running by the river. If you go to the next bridge, it makes it like 4 and change. So there isn't like a good 5K amount. So I felt like 2.66 was a nice way to do it. And it came to my attention, basically like the moment I posted mine, someone was like, hey, what about the Tracksmith one? I'm like, since when is Tracksmith at the Houston Marathon? They're there this year. There is a Tracksmith run at 9 a.m. It's less than 2 miles away from where the Kofuzi Run Club will be. So if you RSVP'd for the Kofuzi Run Club one and you want to go to the Tracksmith one, I won't be offended. In fact, I will also be at the Tracksmith one, but I'm not racing this weekend. So I think I'm going to run a little bit, get a handful of miles in first, then run to the Tracksmith event. And then I'll probably have to leave like right away. And I'll go from the Tracksmith event, run to the Kofuzi Run Club, run that, and then we'll see where we're at. Hopefully I'll be at like a total of about 10 miles on the day. That's kind of my goal for Saturday. So hopefully I'll see you at one of those two places. So 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Spence Ohm says, chocolate cake. When I said that about Portillo's, I wasn't paying attention until now. Yeah, the chocolate cake is really good. Although, I've never actually ate Portillo's before. I think I have one. I think I ate Portillo's once after St. Patrick's Day. One time. But I don't really recall. My daughter likes it. She's gone a couple times. She's in the school choir. And so that was like one of their things. They went caroling over the holidays as a choir. They went to like a bunch of the nursing homes and stuff. And afterwards, they ate at Portillo's. And Portillo's is relatively safe for kids with peanut allergies. So we were like, you can eat there. So I like Portillo's. But if you eat there, you got to get the chocolate cake. I don't think my daughter can get the chocolate cake, though. That's the thing. JC says, I did not have the cake, but I had the combo sandwich. I think I'll eventually try everything. The cake does look good. There you go. Patrick Anderson says, "Hey, Co, heard you graduated high school in 97 in New Jersey. Me too. Did you run cross country? Maybe we ran in a race together back in the day. I went to high school in Toms River. We might have. So I ran one season of cross country because I went to Monmouth Regional for freshman year. And then the beginning of sophomore year is when I moved away. I don't know that I ran. Did I run? I'm trying to think. I think I ran we moved in like October of that sophomore year. So I think maybe we would have run a little bit. Because I do remember going to some meet. I don't know if I went to meets at home. Like all the big regional meets were kind of like at Homedale Park, right? So like that's the one that I definitely remember going to many times. When I went to school in Monmouth Regional, which is down kind of by the Jersey Shore, for those of you who are not familiar with the geography, we'd run on the beach on a lot of the weekends. Usually like during the week, we'd like run around the neighborhood around school. Very hilly in Annandale, New Jersey, but or it felt really hilly anyway. And then on the weekends, we'd go to school. The coach would drive us in a bus. No, I'm messing this up. First high school, Monmouth Regional. We would still run around the school, and then on the weekends, the coach would drive us in a big van to go to the beach. The second high school I went to was in North Hunterdon County on the opposite end of the state, on the western side of the state. That's Annandale. Was it Annandale? I want to say it was Annandale. New Jersey, that area was hilly. We did not go to the beach from there. It was too far. But yeah. So if I ran against you, it would have been probably like 1993 or so. 1990, yeah, probably 1993, 1994. And it probably would have been, I don't know if we ran against you guys, but if I saw you, I'm guessing it would have been in like Homedale Park. That would have been it. Another weird New Jersey connection. I was looking on Instagram yesterday, and Allie Feller, Allie on the Run show, was like she did like an AMA, and people were like, "Do you still work with Lululemon?" And she was like, my ambassadorship she was like, she used to be like an ambassador with Lululemon. She was apparently the way it works is like you're an ambassador connected to a store. So she was an ambassador connected to the Lululemon store at the Garden State Plaza Mall. And then they left New Jersey and they moved she lives in Vermont now or New Hampshire. I never know the difference between the two. She lives in one of those two states in between Massachusetts and Maine. And so she's like, doesn't make sense for me to stay connected with that store since I don't live in that state anymore. And the Garden State, and I messaged her because I was like, the Garden State Plaza Mall. I used to work at that Garden State Plaza Mall. I used to work at the Old Navy at that mall in 1998. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And to circle it all back to Portillo's, not that there wasn't a Portillo's there, but Portillo's is known for the hot dogs. And what I would eat there for lunch every day when I worked at Old Navy in the food court, I'd either eat Panda Express or Nathan's hot dogs. So is that a circle? I don't know. There's loose connections, maybe. All right, let me scroll down and catch up to you guys in some of the chat. Yeah, Louis says, I also graduated high school in 97, but in Tijuana. A little bit far away, maybe. Yeah, Rain Runner said Homedale has the bowl on the cross country course. Yeah, so the Homedale course was known for having this really like rigorous section called the bowl, where you would come down. So it was basically like a lollipop. So you'd be able to see the other runners that are ahead of you that had just finished it, and you'd see the agony on their faces. So it was kind of like terrifying going in. So you'd come down and you'd loop around, losing a lot of altitude for New Jersey. And then you'd have to climb right back up it, and it had a fake summit kind of thing. Not that a summit. You basically made a hard left, and then there was more uphill to go. And like every cross-country runner feared it. We hated it. I recently ran it again. Not recently. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I ran it again. Yeah, it's a hill. It was tough. And if I had to run it at 5K pace, yeah, I'd have track hack by the time I was at the top of the hill again. But I'm like, oh, this is a lot smaller than I remember it. But I guess that's how everything is, right? Travis McCullough is back. He says, it's been so long since I got to catch a live stream. Can't stay long. Going to get some lunch miles to tack on to Winter Grit. Awesome. Go get it. I have been very much enjoying, as soon as I go for my run and I get back home, like adding my miles to Winter Grit right away to see how much I can jump people before they do their after work runs. So I think the highest I've ever gotten was 19th place on the overall leaderboard of miles. I just can't crack much higher. Like before, like the highest I got was 21, but today I had a long run, so now I'm at 19th. So that's like the highest I've been. But I'm sure as the day goes on, more people are adding their miles. So like yesterday, right after my run on the Winter Grit board, I was like 21. 24 hours later, like before I added my new miles, I was 50th. So like that, there's a lot of people that are running 10 miles a day for Winter Grit. And we're all kind of just hopscotching each other depending on the time of day. So we're going to, how is it possible that Run Signup still hasn't figured out how to integrate Strava so we don't have to manually enter our runs every day? LOL. Yeah, that is a bit disappointing that you have to do that. But here is how it works in my favor. Because I know that there's going to be people that are like running a bunch. And then maybe like once a week, they'll add their mileage to Strava or to Winter Grit. In the meantime, I get the self-esteem boost of being like, oh, I'm 19th on the leaderboard today. So I don't mind. Leave it the way it is. Because I'll upload every day. I didn't do that last time I did Grit, but this time I'm enjoying like logging it every day. So yeah, I'm okay. All right. Nalak says, hi all, I'm new here. I just finished a 10K new pair of A6 GT2000. My GT2000 from 2013 have served me well, and now I have blisters. Whoa. Hey, well, welcome, Nalak. Glad to have you here. I'm glad you got a new pair, though, because if you have them from 2013, you were definitely overdue for a pair. As durable as those shoes are, 10 years is a long time to go between shoes, I would say. So even if you're not logging a lot of miles, I would say just because like they age, the foam ages, which is weird to think because you're like, well, I know that from a biodegradation standpoint, it's going to take thousands of years to biodegrade, but like 4 or 5 years of just sitting around for a shoe, I think could be really negative for it, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I need to do some experiments. We'll see. Chris Dyke is back. He says, hey, Cohen folks, it's been a while with the wave emoji. Good to see ya. Travis says, I think the highest point I hit was like mid-20s place. I'm one of those night runners. Work sucks. See, I love you though, Travis, because I like the night runners because I'm a morning runner, so I'll get mine in during the day. I'll hopscotch, and and then you guys can hopscotch me, and it's good. It's good. Kyle Patton says, sometimes I think my company has a dated website and then I open Run Signup. I guess it's not technically broken. So I guess that's good enough, right? All right. Affluent Journey said he had a bit of a problem. Let me go with that. He had a big problem at the Crume Zoom 25K. A worker took down signage too early and then told Affluent Journeys and others to turn around and go the other way. Ended up 1.5 miles back. Over 100, worked back up to 14th for the finish. That's unfortunate. Don't they have like radios or walkie-talkies or like phones that they could talk to each other? I don't know, but Avalon Journey says, if it's any consolation, it's the first time he had no blisters in an Ultra Guide pair number 2, size 9.5. There you go. I'm debating whether or not to try that shoe this year. I'm trying to think about like the shoes that I didn't touch last year or brands that I didn't review any of their shoes last year. Which ones do I need to really try to make more of an effort for this year. Skechers keeps popping up. I didn't review any Skechers shoes last year. I don't know that I really missed a lot, but I also feel like I can't really ignore it. Not that I'm trying to ignore it. And then the Salomon shoes, I just get so disappointed every time I run in a Salomon shoe. Not that there's anything wrong with the shoes. It's just built for a completely different set of preferences. And so it's like, it's always setting me up for disappointment because I'm like, I know these shoes are good shoes. I just don't like them. So, but I feel like the Ultra Glide is different, right? So maybe I'll try it. Mikey Angel says, Yoko, Happy New Year to you and your family from New York City, 54-minute PR, did Honolulu, and with a 10-minute PR, and just got back from Disney. We were doing W4 races with another 20-minute PR on the marathon. Good job, Mikey. That's a lot of racing, man. Whew. 54-minute PR in New York. And then to do more, that's amazing. Great job. I've been starting to see some footage come back from the Disney stuff. I know that was that last weekend. I've been starting to see some videos pop up here and there on Shorts and on YouTube and stuff. So really interesting. I would like to do it, but I'm like, I don't know. It always sells out so fast. That's the thing. I feel like they should have 2 dopey weekends a year. But I guess like you can't really do it in the summer. It's too hot, right? I don't know. Oh yeah, I keep saying hopscotch. Leapfrog? Leapfrog is probably the better word. That's a better word. You're right. Chris Dyke says, confession. I popped on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles after listening to the live stream where we talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for a while. It wasn't as good as I remember. Well, you're not like a kid anymore, you know? Like, are there a lot of shows that like hold up well over time? I'm not sure that there are many. Like if you watch like old G.I. Joe, like I was a huge fan of the G.I. Joe cartoons or the Transformers cartoons. I don't think that those would hold up. I'd just be like, this is terrible. I think the animation would be distracting because I'm like, this is so bad. I don't know. I do think that Voltron, do you guys remember Voltron? I loved Voltron. I have not watched the original like Voltron cartoons again. Remember, because they were in Japanese and then they had to be like redubbed in English, and so like none of the talking matched up. But anyway, like that, I've gone back and watched any of that. But like in my mind, I'm like, there's no way that I wouldn't enjoy it. But I have a feeling I wouldn't enjoy it. Maybe I need to go do that. Dad around says, like, as far as brands that I'm ignoring, Topo. Yeah, that's one that I keep wanting to try. Yeah, where did I listen to? Oh, I think it was on the Drop podcast. They were talking about the Topo Cyclone, the racer one that has P-backs in it. And if I remember correctly, that shoe is supposed to be like a P-backs core with an EVA carrier. It looks great. I'm not sure that's the one. I think I'd rather go with like, I don't want to try a racer. I want to try a daily trainer with Topo. I feel like I like Hokas. I like Ultras. Topos I feel like are kind of in the middle between those two. That's how I perceive the brand. So I'm like, it should be a winner, right? But I don't see people like, trying to race in their race shoes and stuff. So I don't know that I want to go there yet. I want to maximize the chance of success. So maybe I'll figure out what the daily trainer is. Maybe you guys know. Figure out the daily trainer and go with that. Alpha Dream says the Ultra Glide is on sale now for $105. It's an easy pickup. Oh, that's interesting. But I know that's because the Ultra Glide 2 is coming out. And just knowing me, I'm going to be like, I really should have got the Ultra Glide 2. Or maybe I'll get the one. If I like it, then I'll get the 2 and compare both of them. I don't know. Sean says, Kabuzi, the Solomon Sense Ride 5 should be out this spring. Feels like that works for most. It's my everyday workhorse. I think you'd like it. Here's the thing. I thought I would like it too, but I did the Sense Ride 3, I think, a couple of years ago. And I liked it on like heavy trail. Like if there was a very soft, squishy trail. Like if it got anything close to like, if it was like even a dirt road, I'm like, this is okay, but it feels dense underfoot, you know? So I don't know. The thing is, it's like I like the clothes. Solomon sent me a t-shirt before TRE for the Take the Bridge event. I've been wearing that as a base layer like every time it's clean. It's very thin, it's very lightweight, and I've been really enjoying it as a base layer. It's so good. And I know that their packs are great. Jackets look great, but it's just like the shoes are not designed for people that like big, squishy daily trainers, you know? Andrew Strauss says, looking for indoor track shoes for the 800 mile. Any advice? I would say you're looking at like Street Fly, which is a shoe that I still need to review. Or the SC Pacer, which is another shoe that I still need to review anyway, in terms of race shoes. I don't know if there's stack height limitations for where you're racing, Andrew. So that might change the analysis a little bit, but I feel like those would be the ones that if someone were to ask me to do those, I'd probably roll up in that Takumi Sen, but that also might be too tall. I don't know what the rules are for an 800 mile indoor. I mean, can it be a spike? I don't know if you'd want a spike for it. I don't think I would want a spike for an 800 meter or a mile. Although I wore spikes for my steeplechase. That was 3,000. So I think you could, but on the indoor track, I don't know. I always feel like the Zoom Streak is not a super like glamorous choice, but always a solid choice. I just don't know that much about those racing flats. But other shoes that I think, like if we're looking at like daily trainers that could be used for those kinds of events too, I would say like Rebel 3. Rebel 2 is probably a better choice. But Rebel 3, the Puma Liberate, that's a good one. Nice and low slung. Speedy, snappy. Yeah. TKane17 says, speaking of Honolulu, would you ever run in Hawaii? Yeah, I would love to run in Hawaii. Here's the thing. The Hawaii Marathon is usually the weekend after CIM. So like it comes at a difficult part of the calendar year for me, because then it's like I've got Thanksgiving break, then I usually do TRE, the running event, and then on that weekend, so that's like the Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday after Thanksgiving. Then the weekend after Thanksgiving is CIM, and then the following week after that is usually Honolulu. I think that's how it tends to fall. I really want to go just because I want to go to Hawaii. Especially because it seems like a lot of the pro athletes are going there just to race the mile. But like, I think even in December, I think because of the temperatures and because it's winter still, even in a tropical place, like the sun doesn't come out until like you're at the halfway point of the race. And that doesn't sound great to me. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll find some other time to go run in Hawaii, not the marathon. But the marathon makes the most sense for kind of like my travel likelihood, I guess. Leonardo says, Mike, knees and ankle okay? That's a great question. So the knee today held up really well. So I ran just shy of 17 miles. I debated running an extra 0.07 to round it up, but I left it at 16.93. I think that's where I ran today. And did not feel any knee pain. Like now afterwards, I'm like, my knee's like, oh, you ran a lot today. But I've been doing those kind of drills that I usually do when my knee gets a little bit cranky. Basically, the kinds of things that people would do if they're trying to learn how to do a pistol squat. Those things, that tends to really help it the most. Plus a lot of like massage in the tendons around the knee. And that's been good. The ankle is mostly good, but it still just feels a little bit like, it's tender. It's not swollen. Like 2 months ago, like if you looked at it, you would think that I just turned my ankle because it was always so swollen. Now it's not swollen, but like I can definitely feel. So if this is my foot, if I turn my foot a little bit, my left foot, there's like a tendon that's like that's like catching on my ankle bone. And it's really weird. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's one of those things where if I need to like massage it more or just let it alone, but it's not problematic. It doesn't hurt. And I just don't know. Maybe after Tokyo, I'll have someone look at it. I don't know. We'll see. Jason Dahl says Disney starts super early in the morning too, right? It does. It starts in the dark because then it's a January race like last week. And you still got to finish early enough so that way like they can open the parks and stuff. So like that definitely starts in the dark, but like I don't know how the start is I haven't seen the starting line of Hawaii Marathon. I have seen the starting line of those Disney races. And like there's fireworks and there's floodlights everywhere, so I don't feel like you're running in the dark. It's dark, but I don't feel like you're running in the dark. You know what I mean? I don't know. The thing is, I've run some of like the areas where I think the course is. I don't know the exact course, but I've run some of those, and you're basically just like running in like sidewalks. It feels like you're running on sidewalks in suburbia a lot of time. If you're ever doing a lot of running around the Disney like resorts. And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem all that great. It seems like tragically mom oriented for the Disney races. It's kind of like, like I just think for a lot of families, like just generally moms are so self-sacrificing that they would never ask the family to go on a trip to a place that's a good race, like CIM or grandma's. They will suffer a not as great race course like Disney, so that way they can combine it with the trip and kind of take up less space. And that makes me sad in a lot of ways. Now, I know a lot of people like to wear costumes, and they take the photo ops, and they do all that, and that enhances the experience. But I feel like there's a lot of moms that are running the Disney, and maybe dads too, that are running the Disney races that are like, well, I can get in a race without it like being too obtrusive to the family, And I just want to be like, be selfish a little bit, mom. Be selfish a little bit, dad. Come, let's go run Cherry Blossom. It's a fun race, So that's kind of how I think about it sometimes. So sometimes the Disney races make me a little bit sad. And I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Spencer Holmes says, I really want to do the Disney Marathon 2024. Might flex up if the marathon sells out too quick. I have no desire to pay the $550-ish to run $550-ish run Disney club fee to register early. I had no idea that's how much it costs. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, that's expensive. I don't know about that. All right, Patrick Anderson says, PR this weekend in the Central Park for 10K. Congratulations. And running Mesa Marathon next month, going for sub 3. Missed it by 26 seconds last year, so fingers crossed. Well, good luck to you. Mesa Marathon, is that the one with one of those big downhills? That's what the Mesa series are, right? Wait, no. What's the company called? I don't know. Maybe I got that wrong. But going for sub 3. Good luck. Good luck. How is the Central Park 10K? That's got to be hilly, right? There's no way that's not hilly. All right, I'm way behind you guys in the chat. Sorry, I'm going to scroll down. Lalo Uchiha says, do you go half a size up on running shoes? I would say like compared to like my dress shoes or to like my flip-flops, I would frame, I guess yes. Like your toes shouldn't be at the edge of the shoes. If you're not familiar with like running shoes, like that's not how you should size them, because your foot needs a little bit more space in there than like a regular like dress shoe, for example. Your feet will swell over time if you're running for a while, and you just need a little bit more room. And so that is the way that the shoes are designed. So you have to like have a little bit more space. Does that make sense? I don't like to say like go up half a size, because that's not always the case. I would highly, highly recommend, if you don't know what like your regular running shoe size is, go to a running store. They will measure you. They will let you know. They will help you figure that out. So like that's like the best thing that I can recommend. Like it's worth the inconvenience, I think, because then you figure out what your size is. And then from then on, when you're looking at reviews or you're researching shoes, when people say it's true to size, then you know you can just get that same size that you've been getting before. So. Frank says, we've combined Boston into a college visit trip for my eldest. Now that's thinking. There you go. There you go. So, I mean, like, so you're going to have, so your kid's going to go to visit colleges in Boston, and there's many colleges in Boston, on like Patriots Day weekend, like Boston week. I mean, if you're trying to get your kid to go to Boston, I feel like that's a good way to do it, right? Because like the city is going to be wild. It's going to be really fun. I feel like the only better time to do it would be like, you know, like in the summer when there's like a Red Sox game or something like that. But like the city's going to be alive. I don't know. Stevie76 says, I know moms who leave their family home to raise Disney as a girls' weekend. I feel like there's like the princess weekend, and then there's the wine and dine weekend, which I know a lot of women will, it's more targeted towards a female audience. And I see that happening too. I think that's great. I like those things. I just don't know that I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone who's run the courses at Disney, because I think I know what the courses are like. And not that I need like a pretty course. I mean, like CIM isn't the most scenic. There's parts of it which are really nice and pretty, but it isn't always the most scenic course. So that's fine. And I suppose you have a good chance of good weather and it's going to be flat. So I think that those are all good things. But also, like, you know, the other thing about Disney races is you're not always going there to PR, you know, especially if you're going with some friends. You know, maybe you're just going there to have a race together. It makes it an event. Fun place to do it. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Disney races. I do wish the course was a little bit nicer. That's all, I guess. Eric wants to know what's the princess weekend. I think like the theme, like, so a lot of the Disney races, my understanding is like they have like stations, kind of like a rock and roll race, right? So if you do a rock and roll half marathon, there'll be like bands all over the course and stuff. Like the Disney races, like there's different themes. Sometimes it's Star Wars theme, which I kind of want to do that. And I'd like to race a half marathon as a stormtrooper, but they don't allow you to run in a full face helmet for security reasons, they say. So I'm like, that makes it less interesting. I don't want to race with like one of those plastic kid ones that just have like the front part and then a little elastic band. I don't want to race like that. But they have like Star Wars weekend. They have like a superhero weekend. They have now they have Marvel, so they have a Marvel weekend. They have different themes throughout the year. And like princesses is one of them. Wine and dine is another one. I think that's like around Halloween time usually, you know. Eric says, oh, gotcha, Disney. Never mind. It's not, I guess it's not for you, huh? Sean says, I just don't get Disney. I have several good friends that are so into it and the races. They even have a Disney race-oriented podcast. Oh, Sean says, I'd rather just get any place on earth. I think that my kids are like, the window's closing where I can bring both of my kids. My kids are 6 and 11. So like the window's closing where I can bring both of them where I feel like they'd still enjoy it. So we're probably going to try and squeeze one more Disney trip in. You know, I know there's adults that like Disney as well, and I think that's fine. I won't comment on that. But like, it's not me, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. There's lots of things that I don't like that I think are fine. But like, I think when you got kids a certain age, maybe, you know, Sean, I think maybe, if I remember correctly, I think your kids are a little on the young end of that, maybe. I don't know. The races, though, I think that the thing about the races, I feel like they do a really good job of providing is like making it like a big deal race without big pressure. You know, so I feel like, you know, there's a lot of races, like people are like, oh, I got to get my BQ this week. You know, the people get intense. And I think that could be a real intimidating thing for a lot of people. So maybe that's the draw. I don't know. Bishan Mom says, FYI, all Disney races are sold out in like 30 minutes. They open in June. Yeah, that's hard. The only Disney race that I've done was when we did a Disney cruise several years ago, and I signed up for the 5K. There was no chip timing because you did it. You get off the boat onto a Disney island, and then you run around like an airfield. And I almost managed to get lost or make a wrong turn. But it's pretty fun. It was fun. Yeah, I liked it. Adam says, I grew up in LA, so Disneyland was a regular for us. Now, are they changing the name of Disneyland? I feel like they're calling it like Disney California or Disney. They're calling it something different than Disneyland these days. Or is that a different place? I'm not sure. Wherever they got like the Millennium Falcon, that one, where's that? Is that Disneyland still, or is that something else? I don't know. Morgan Keeler says, new follower to the channel, welcome. He says, getting back into running and doing St. Patty's 5K and Shamrock Shuffle. Love the channel and vibes. Awesome. I was just thinking about the Shamrock Shuffle like yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this year. It's a fun race. I like it because it's like the official opening of, well, you got like Shamrock Shuffle at one end of the calendar early in the year, and then you got Chicago Marathon at the end. Now there's races both before and after those races, but like that's kind of like for a lot of like the Chicago runners, like that's kind of like the beginning and end of the running season or the running year. So there's always a lot of optimism at the Shamrock Shuffle. It's usually a bit chilly though, but it's a fun one. You start the same way you start the Chicago Marathon, so that's always exciting. I like that one. Matthias says, this is a different place. The place where they have the Millennium Falcon is a different place than Disneyland. Okay. Louis says there's 2 parks at Disneyland. The other is California Adventure. See, I got to figure that out. Maybe I got it. I want to go to that. I want to go where the Millennium Falcon is. I just want to see the Millennium Falcon. Dazdarren99 says, I feel like before you marry someone, you need to see where they stand on Disney. It's like knowing if you are marrying into a family that turkey trots. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, what was interesting, that was like something that my wife and I figured out, but not from like a marriage perspective, but from like when we were living in Chicago. That was a big thing, like whether you could be parent friends with another couple or not. Like if you had kids like the same age and maybe your kids got along well at like little gym or whatever, or like baby gymnastics, you have to kind of figure out where they stand on like TV time and like, is Disney allowed? You know, because some families like out here in the suburbs, like every kid is watching Disney Channel pretty much like all day, right? But like my kids included. But you know, downtown, there's some people that are like, wow, we only let our kids have like 10 minutes of screen time a day, if that. And when they do, it's educational. And I'm like, whew, that's tough. I don't know how you do that. And so I'm like, a lot of my attempts at conversing with younger children are going to revolve around some pop culture references. So I'm not sure what I'm going to say to your kids. So I was like, all right, I guess we can't hang out. Not because I'm like, well, if you don't like Disney shows, I don't like you. It's just like, well, that's a good indicator that a lot of other things that I think are fine, you probably will think are weird for me to do as a parent or to not do as, you know what I mean? So I feel like the Disney thing was a good barometer of like, are these parents normal or not? But then it can go the other way where like people are like way into like letting their kids watch way too much TV, more than my kids. And I'm like, so do you just like never see your kids and you just like lock them up in a room or something? You know, like there was a lot of that too. So I was like, yeah, to kind of figure it out. But I feel like if you see the parents interacting with their kids at Little Gym, you already know, which are the kids that are like, which one of the parents that are like, I can't wait to move to the suburbs so I can have a man cave. And which are the parents that are like somewhat normal where their kids have some screen time, but it's like, they're not on like a shot clock. in terms of how much screen time they have. You got to find a balance, I think. Or maybe that's how I justify my own parenting. I don't know. Jason Dell says, hey now, family turkey trots are awesome. I love pushing my brother and dad to their limits. Gets pretty competitive for us. Haha. I love a turkey trot. I'm a big fan of the turkey trot, and I'm disappointed now in the Dubuque area that there isn't a turkey trot. So that's because that's where we are in Dubuque County, Iowa, for Thanksgiving holiday. And when some of my nieces and nephews, now they've both graduated high school. I still have others that are at that high school, nieces and nephews. But the two of the older nieces and nephews, when they were in high school, like there was a turkey trot. It was really informal. They did get the local cop. And I say that singular on purpose because I'm not sure there's more than one in that town. But they had the local cop. Like they didn't block off the street, but they would at least alert the traffic that there are people going to be running through. And they said it was a 5K. It was always closer to like 2 miles. And like to participate, you had to bring a canned good. It was pretty informal, but it was fun because some of my nieces and nephews would come. Some of my sister and brothers-in-law would come, and it'd be a fun day to get out there. But I don't know if they stopped doing it or if my nieces and nephews are like just telling me it doesn't exist so I don't go and embarrass them. Or maybe because they don't want to go. I don't know. But there doesn't seem to be one anymore. So now I'm turkey trotless on Thanksgiving, which is disappointing, So. Daz Darren says, "Co, you need to be the turkey trot race director in Iowa." Yeah, I don't know. There are people that do races in Iowa, but like, in that county. But the only races that I know of in that area are ultra races. So there's like the Mines of Spain 100K, and then there's a lot of like the cycling is huge in Iowa, and so on the Heritage Trail where I do a lot of my running in Dubuque County, there is a winter, like you can run it or you can ride it. It starts out at this little bar in a tiny town called Durango, Iowa. And you start at the bar, which is right at one of the trailheads. And the bar looks like a shanty, basically like a big shanty with another shanty attached to it. And you can run or ride a fat bike or however you want to traverse the distance. Like 25K or 50K or I think 100K. No, maybe not 100K. I think it's 25K or 50K. And the way you do it is you just go out and you turn around. It's like honor system. It's pretty amazing. I never managed to actually sign up for it. The one year that I was thinking about doing it, like the weather, there were still signups available. I don't know if we were going to be in town, but I was like, maybe I'll go back for that race. But like the weather was going to be like 4 degrees. And I'm like, I'm not running that much in 4 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's someone's doing a race. Maybe I should email them and be like, hey guys, can you put on a turkey trot? Because I'd like that. Luke Klein says, 100K turkey trot. I think you could do that on the Heritage Trail. Start on one end, do an out and back, get from Dubuque, the city of Dubuque, to New Vienna, to Dyersville and back. That would be about 100K. All right. Piet Johnson says, hey, Co, I'm looking to just hit a sub 4 marathon. Do you think the Magic Speed 2 is a good shoot for that? In my opinion, it's a bit firm for it. I personally would not want, no matter what your speed is, I would not want to run a marathon in the Magic Speed 2. I would probably, unless you think the Nova Blast is too squishy, if you're looking in the A6 family, I would probably rather have you in a Nova Blast than the Magic Speed 2. Or if not that, maybe a Cumulus or a Nimbus. The new Nimbus that comes out in February is going to be real nice. But that's going to, it's going to be expensive, guys. No one's talked about the price, I think. And I'm not going to say it now because I think if I'm remembering it wrong, that's going to freak people out. But it's expensive. But I would rather you run it in a Nova Blast than in the Magic Speed 2. Just because it's like, it's firm. I like it for short bursts, like 5K pace efforts. Workouts, 5K racing, great. But I don't love it for like everyday running. I don't know that I'd want to run a marathon in it. I'm sure it'd be fine, but it's a little on the firm side for me. Oh, Sean Devin says the Mach 5. Mach 5 also is a good choice. The Mach 5 videos, and I just got to 100 miles in it. That video is going to come out tomorrow, I think. And, you know, I've been trying to end my videos with like also consider. And when I'm talking about the Mach 5, I'm like, basically, if you're talking about the Mach 5 or the Nova Blast, you're going to talk about one, you talk about the other, and then maybe even the Rebel 3. Rebel 3 probably the best choice because that's a little bit more, it feels a little bit more nimble. It feels a little bit more racy. I've done a 20 miler in it. Felt great. You know, same with the Mach 5. Also did a 20 miler in that one. So they're good. Zach Back said the Nimbus 25 is $160 on the ASICS website. Oh, okay, so that's cheaper than I was thinking. That I remember someone telling me how much it was going to be. So that's good. That's a normal. That's a good price. That's a normal price. I was worried it was going to be much more than that for some reason. Richard Wilson says the Nova Blast 2 is on sale if they have your size. That is a good price if you can get it on sale. Because the regular Nova Blast it's like creeping up. Like every year, it's like $10 more expensive, which is not crazy, but not a great thing, you know. All right. I think that's going to be a good place to leave it for today, guys. We talked about tomorrow's video already. So that's going to be tomorrow. And then after that video comes out, we'll do another live stream, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. I might be a little bit late. I just had a phone call get scheduled at 12:30 or 30 minutes before this. It should end in time for the live stream. But if I'm a little bit late, it's because I have a phone call that's going a little bit long, but I will be here. So just a little bit heads up. And not tomorrow, but Thursday is going to be the last live stream for the week because Friday I'm going to be traveling to go to Houston. And you know what? We didn't talk about whether there are any other Monday through Friday-ish live streams that exist anywhere, radio show, podcast, YouTube, whatever. So maybe we can talk about that. Because if there's another one, I'd like to know. You know, maybe it's like the Bizarro live stream. I don't know about them. I think we're the only ones here. So let's see. Let's do some research tonight, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. That's your homework. All right. Until I see you guys again, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.